In just 15 days, this garden needs to be ready for my birthday. And right now, it's looking a little rough. I've already transformed parts of the garden by building these playgrounds. But there's still plenty left to do. So over the next 15 days, I'll be fixing, cleaning, and transforming everything I can before the guests arrive. I decided to start with something simple, but I had to do this twice, because I slightly underestimated the size of this section. By quite a lot. I enjoy landscaping. I just don't enjoy measuring it first. I also trimmed this bush on the other side of the garden. At this point, I also noticed that the lawn needed some love too. Not emotional support, just maintenance. Next up was the area around the apple tree. After that, it was time to clean up this small flower bed and bring everything back under control. One thing that had been bothering me for a while was this outdoor power outlet. The wooden post had broken a long time ago, and somehow I kept finding reasons not to fix it. So it was finally time to build a replacement. The assembly happened just outside the camera frame. Professional filmmaking at its finest. With everything assembled, it was time to put the power outlet back where it belonged. And while I was there, I cleaned up the surrounding area as well. We had recently been given a strawberry plant, and my son was very excited about it. So naturally, it had to be planted straight away. With that taken care of, it was time to get back to work. This corner of the garden had become a little overgrown, which is a polite way of saying it was slowly taking over. Next up was this area between the trees. Over time, it had become a collection point for weeds, grass, old leaves, branches, and just about everything else the garden could throw at it. Most of the work here wasn't difficult. There was just a lot of it. This day was mostly about trimming, raking, and tidying up. Nothing complicated, just a lot of catching up on garden maintenance. Unfortunately, not everyone shared my sense of urgency. Whenever my oldest son is outside, garden work tends to get interrupted by football. The next day, it was time to tackle the carport. The wood had originally been protected with oil, but the iron-rich groundwater had slowly stained it over the years. So I sanded everything back and switched to the same stain I'd used on the gates. Those were still looking great, which was more than I could say for the beams. With the sanding done, it was finally time to apply the stain. And the difference was immediate. The treated side looked almost new again. So I carried on with the remaining beams and worked my way through the rest of the carport. It was back to the usual routine. More trimming, more raking, and a little bit of lawn maintenance. Things were going smoothly, until the football manager showed up again. After a brief interruption, it was time to get back to work. The planks had been taken off camera for sanding and a fresh coat of stain, which looked something like this. Once everything was back in place, the carport was starting to look complete again. And I've got to say, I'm really happy with how it turned out. It's one of those jobs that doesn't look like much while you're doing it, but makes a big difference when it's finished. But there's still a lot left to do, so I needed to move on, back to the garden. I started the next day with some more cleanup in the garden. I was honestly already pretty tired at this point, but I had to move on to the tree. It had been dead for about 2 years already, so it didn't put up much of a fight. I started with the 2 smaller trunks. At this point I thought, this tree is so dead and brittle, I could probably knock it over with this chainsaw cover. After that, it was just breaking everything down into smaller pieces and getting it ready for the fire pit. Turns out, cleaning up an entire tree is very tiring. So I finished up the last bit of cleanup, put out the fire, and called it a day. With only 3 days left, I really needed a productive day. It was the weekend, the weather was perfect, and my oldest son was away playing with a friend. So there were no excuses. I started by cleaning up the remains of yesterday's tree project and getting everything around the garden house tidy again. Then it was time for the play hill. There was some ivy that had taken over, a shrub that had grown way beyond its job description, and a few low branches that seemed determined to hit everyone in the face. So those had to go. With the birthday getting closer, I really needed to pick up the pace. The only thing left on the schedule was a quick walk with the dog. That wouldn't take long.
I don't think so. No, 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 no. I don't think so. No, 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 no. It's never, ever, 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 ever gonna happen.
At this point, we had covered roughly 3 meters. Eventually, I managed to get him moving again, using an advanced parenting technique. Once we finally made it back, it was time to continue on the play hill. The old goals had to go as well. I'd already built new ones, so these had officially reached retirement age. And while all of this was going on, I was still trying to improve the lawn. That meant mowing the lawn whenever it needed it. And with some warm weather during these 2 weeks, the lawn needed regular watering as well. Apparently, grass has demands too. Every day, bit by bit. 3 days left. And somehow it still felt possible. With only 2 days left, there wasn't much time to waste. So naturally, I started with my leaf blower, one of my favorite garden tools. It doesn't actually remove any work. It just moves the work somewhere else. But somehow it still feels productive. After that, it was time for the front garden. And with temperatures around 30 degrees, it wasn't exactly the coolest job of the day. But it needed doing. Besides the usual pruning, there were also 3 large grass plants that had to go. Every year they produce hundreds of seeds, and those seeds stick to our dog's fur, like Velcro. They're annoying to remove, and if they stay in the coat for too long, they can even work their way into the skin. So getting rid of these plants was an easy decision. Once those were out of the way, it was back to trimming, cleaning up, and slowly working through the rest of the garden. One step at a time. And just when I thought I was nearly finished, I got some help. Well, at least that's what we're calling it. One day left, and there was really only one area that still needed attention. The patio. With weather like this, the birthday was definitely going to be outside. And this is probably my favorite spot in the garden. Always shade, always a breeze, and somehow always the place where all the garden mess ends up. I also found this pile of sand next to the house. Rat or mole? Let me know what you think. I've seen both in the garden before, so either one would be a reasonable suspect. Once that was cleaned up, I gave the fridge a quick clean and got the drinks cooling. Priorities, right? Then it was time for the leaf blower, followed by the pressure washer, because if you're going to sit somewhere all day, it might as well be clean. After that, I could finally set everything back up. A nice detail is that I built this entire seating area myself, using timber that came off the house when the old wooden exterior was removed. So it's good to see it still getting a second life. This was it. Just a few final touches before everyone arrived. One last mow. And honestly, I'm really happy with how the lawn turned out. 15 days ago, it wasn't looking great. But considering the time I had, it's recovered better than I expected. With the mowing done, there was finally time to take a step back and look around. The patio was ready. The play area was ready. And for the first time in a long while, the whole garden felt ready. If you enjoyed the video, a like and a subscription would be greatly appreciated. I've got plenty more projects waiting for me.